Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng mga estudyante namin sa grade 11. Muli po, nandito na naman ako para ibigay sa inyo ang isa sa pinakahuli, one of the last topics that we are going to discuss before we depart from each other, before we part ways. Ngayon po, the topic that we are going to discuss is communities, conflict, and development. How do we define development? In defining development, we will have to consider several things. The following are the lexical definition of development according to what is written in the dictionary. Development is the systematic use of scientific and technical knowledge to meet specific objectives or requirements. Systematic use of scientific and technical knowledge. That's the first, of course. The next is the extension of the theoretical or practical aspects of a concept. Practical aspects of a concept, design, discovery, or invention. That's the practical, or probably theoretical. It's either by theory or practice. Number 3 is the process of economic and social transformation. That is based on a complex cultural and environmental factors and their interactions. So, number 4, the last, of course, is the process of adding improvements to a parcel of land such as grading, subdivisions, drainage, access, roads, utilities. So, marami ka nang idinadagdag. So, there are four different definition of the word development. Defining development, and this is the second part. Amartya Sen, a Nobel Prize economist, has twice changed our definition of development. Meron siyang style na kakatuwa sa pangkaraniwan. We must say that she or he is an unorthodox. He has some sort of unorthodox ways of defining development. The traditional economists focused on incomes as the main measure of well-being until he showed the poverty has a wide range of deprivations on health, education, and living standards which are not captured in income alone. Marami, sinasabi dito, nagka-doble lang yung wide range ko. Maraming paraan, a wide range of deprivation on health, education, and living standards which are not captured on income alone. Hindi lang masusukat yon sa income mo, sa sweldo mo, o sa kinikita mo sa kung ano ang business mo. This led to the creation of UN Human Development Index, and later, the Multidimensional Poverty Index, both of which aims to measure development in the broader sense. Mas malawak pa pala kesa sa sweldo mo, sa income mo, ang definition ng development. In 1999, Sen moved his goalpost with the argument that freedom is not only the means but the end of developments. Ang kalayaan mo'y hindi lang paraan kundi yun ang pinakadulo ng development. Ang kalayaan mo. His view was widely accepted, of course. Tinanggap ng karamihan. The development must be judged on the impact on people, yung dating nito sa tao, and not only on the changes in their income but also in terms of their choices, capabilities, and freedoms. Makikita din yun sa kung gaano karami ang mapagpipilian mo, ang kapabilidad mo at ang kalayaan mo. We must only be concerned on the simple average for a society but also on the distribution of the improvements. Gaano kadami ang improvement na maibibigay mo sa tao, not only on the income alone. Social science indicator about development. It is a multidisciplinary perspective. Social indicators is defined as a statistical measure based on statistics that describe social trends and conditions impacting on human well-being. Generally, social indicators perform one or more of these functions. So, meron ditong tatlong functions. Pero maaaring gumamit ng isa o maaaring dalawa o maaaring lahat ng ito ay pwede nating gamitin. 1. Providing information for decision making. Kailangan bago ka mag-decide, marami kang information na gagamitin tungkol sa mga bagay na pagdidesisyonan mo. Number 2, monitoring and evaluating policies. Of course, there are always policies regarding a certain matter, and you will have to monitor them before making a decision and or searching for a common good and deciding how to reach it. Common good, makakabuti sa lahat. At paano mararating yon? What is an indicator? Indicators are succinct measures that are to describe as much about system as possible. Succinct measures that are to describe as much about a system as possible. Maide-describe mo yung isang sistema, pero maraming paraan, maraming measures na dapat kang tingnan, in which help us understand a system, compare it, and improve it. Pwede mo maikumpara at pwede mo pang mapaunlad. Iyon ang indicator. Indicators can consist of one statistical variable or of several variables combined together to form an index. Some examples of social indicators are poverty rate. Nako, issue ito palagi dahil since time immemorial sa panahon pa ni Kristo at bago kay Hesus Kristo, poverty has already been there. And also with inequality rate. Panahon pa ni Kristo at bago pa sa panahon ni Hesus Kristo, ang tao ay literally unequal. Hindi mo maisasabing parehas. May inequality rate tayo. Life expectancies. Panahon pa ng mga ninuno natin, ang edad daw ng tao ay umaabot sa halos 900 years old. Pero sa life expectancy ngayon, ano na ba ang life expectancy ng mga Pilipino and also the foreigners? Obesity rate. Mas marami daw ngayon ang mga taong heavy weight. Ang fertility, health expenditures, suicide rate. Ayan ang ayokong pag-usapan, ang suicide rate. Pero meron din po niyan sa ating indicators. Educational attainment and objective and subjective social indicators. Ang susunod po ay objective and subjective social indicators. Sa objective social indicators po are statistics which represent social facts. Statistics which represent a social fact, isang bagay na totoo sa society, independent of the personal evaluation, and subjective social indicators measure of individual perceptions. Palagay po ng mga tao yon. Self-reports and evaluation of social conditions. Yan po ay objective. Talagang may basihan ka. Hindi yon palagay ng tao. Kaya nga po, hindi makakasama ang tinatawag nating individual perception. Kasi kapag nagkaroon ka ng individual perception, hindi na po objective yon. Subjective na po yon. Now, dito naman po, examples of subjective indicators. Mga subjective na. Halos kulang ka sa basihan. Galing sa objective, mapupunta na sa subjective, which is somehow magkakaroon ka ng individual perception. Palagay mo na. Number 1, trust. Tiwala. Ang tiwala mo ay naibibigay mo sa tao. Your trust will be given to a person irrespective of your ugali. Irrespective of your ugali. Kahit na medyo pumapaling ka minsan, still kapag na-build mo yung trust mo, nandyan na rin po yun. Malibang kung talagang lilihis ka sa iyong landas. Number 2, confidence. Life satisfaction. Number 4, well-being, perceived poverty, and the last, social indicators report. And the last but not the least, before we part ways from each other, we have the home activity. Read pages 128 to 133 and answer the following questions. Nagkamali po ako ng spelling dyan, hindi Gian and D po yun. Number 1, name the additional countries whom we can consider as colonizers. Alam po natin na ang mga colonizers, yung mga nauna po ay ang Portugal at saka Spain. Later, ano-ano na po ang mga dumagdag na mga bansa as colonizers. Number 2, define the following. Letter A, new industrialized nations. B, new militarism. Letter C, historiographical debate. Letter D, economic imperialism. And letter E, non-economic imperialism. Now, still submission will be 1 week after this date, and this will be, today is Wednesday, habang ipinipresent ito sa inyo, Wednesday po. So, Tuesday next week, irrespective of the date, Holy Week man yan o hindi, ipapasa nyo sa akin yon. And kahit na po hindi na natin matalakay ito as formal subject matter sa atin, at least habol sa inyong karunungan, and ang exam po natin ay hahanggan sa topic na na-discuss today. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat and have a nice day ahead.